It's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the daily. And the other day in my backyard, I heard some barking. Now, if you're watching the video portion, I'm in my front yard now. I'm in my driveway, and so you can't really see my neighborhood. But I live in a very unique neighborhood in that on this little circle, this little block that I live on, there are probably, I'm going to say 15 houses, 16 houses, something like that. And out of those 15 or 16 houses, we, the Brown family, are the only ones that own dogs. That's it. There's no other dog. Like, nowhere else in America are you going to get 15 or 16 houses in a row and only one family owns dogs. I just thought that was crazy. But like I say, you know, we know our neighbors and we're the only ones with dogs. So, you can imagine my surprise when I go out in my slippers the other day and let my dogs out to the bathroom, and it's morning time, and from across the fence on the other side in the backyard, I hear barking. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not my dog's barking, because it was this little yapping type noise. It's not my dog's barking. Oh no. And it was snowing out and it was freezing cold, and I was like, oh no. I'm guessing a dog got into our neighbor's backyard somehow and got stuck, and oh no. Well, as it turns out, later on that day, that dog was in my yard because he had kind of tunneled his way under the fence, found his way into my yard, and my dog didn't know what to make of that. She was like, wait a minute, why is there this new dog in our yard? But what it was my neighbors were dog sitting. Now, I always joke, well, let me go back a little bit further. Well, because we come to find out, you know, they're dog sitting, and, you know, they share with my wife. Everyone shares with my wife. No one ever brings these problems up with me, but they share with my wife, like, oh my gosh, you know, this dog sitting has been tough. The dog is constantly barking. We can't leave it in the house because it'll pee and go to the bathroom, and so we've got to stay home and watch it all the time. But when I let it out to the bathroom in the backyard, it just sits and barks all the time. Oh my gosh, we don't know what to do. You know, our friends didn't tell us the dog was like this. And it reminds me, going back this summer, we went back to California and visited family. And, you know, we were doing a lot of fun things. It's summertime in California. And a couple times, my brother and his family, who live in California, you know, near my parents, my sister-in-law had to bow out of an activity because she had to go home to be with a dog that they were dog sitting, that they were dog sitting. Because same thing, the dog was peeing all over the house, chewing stuff up, barking, stuff like that. And they were like, oh my gosh, my friends didn't tell me the dog was like this. This is a common occurrence, folks. Dogs settle into, I always tell people there's a difference between a well-trained dog and a dog who's not doing anything wrong. Because the well-trained dog knows how to do things right. The dog that's not doing much wrong doesn't know how to do a lot of right things. He's just simply fallen into a pattern at home. And the owners have a schedule and they have a pattern, and you know, sometimes they get angry when the dog does something wrong, but overall their dog's fine, and so they think their dog is well-mannered until the dog goes and stays at somebody's house, and turns out the dog wasn't well-mannered. The dog was just simply in patterns at their house. Or maybe it was completely a nightmare at its owner's house too, but the owner just was oblivious to that fact. But it's very common that you know, when folks dog sit, or when a dog is out of its element, the owner who's telling people, oh, my dog is very well behaved, my dog is great, my dog is this, that, and the other, really just has a dog that, you know, doesn't have much inclination to do a ton of things wrong, but you change the environment and suddenly that dog's, you know, a nightmare, and peeing all over the house where it doesn't pee in its own house, or chewing stuff up and it doesn't chew stuff in its own house. And so again, you know, the solution here, which is something I preach all day long, I sound like a broken record. The solution here is super solid obedience and relationship training. You know, teaching the dog how to make good decisions rather than just simply falling into the same pattern over and over. That can change when you move or you go on vacation or something like that. But teaching the dog how to make proper decisions. You know, I'm under no illusion that when I'm gone, I'm guessing my dogs probably aren't quite as obedient, aren't quite as well behaved. But overall, when we're gone, whether you know, we leave the dogs at our training center or somebody staying at our house, our dogs are going to be well-mannered because we've taught them how to make choices, we've taught them obedience, we've taught them structure. such that it's independent of us to a great degree. You know, there's no such thing. I shouldn't say there's no such thing, but you know, dogs need their leader. They need that. But independent of me, my dog knows not to jump on things, knows not to chew on stuff, knows not to pee in the house. And if you take me out of that equation, my dog's still going to follow those same rules. Whereas, you know, the dog that hasn't been trained very well just simply followed into a pattern. There's a difference there. It's going to be an entirely different story. So get your dog trained. Don't just say, hey, my dog's well behaved. All right, how well behaved is he? Can you have him do this, this, and this? Well, if the, you know, can you have him lie down for 10 minutes while you eat dinner? Can you have him come when called, even with distractions? Can you have him, you know, follow you off leash? You know, things like that. If the answer is no, maybe your dog's not well behaved. Maybe your dog's just not misbehaved. Think about that.